Out here, the sun destroys everything. But that shape under the tarp, that's not a normal wreck.
I brushed the dust off the badge and my stomach dropped. Koenigsegg. If this is a Trevita, it's worth more than everything in this yard combined. Flat tire, sand everywhere, and the rotors are already rusting. If the desert got into the drivetrain, this could be a nightmare.
Look at the vents, they're packed with servos.
The interior's cooked, leather cracked, carbon buried in dust. If sand got into the electronics, even the gauges might be dead.
He called it scrap, said it's been sitting for years. I kept my face calm, because if this is really a Trevita,
I kept my voice calm because the second he realizes what this is, the deal is gone.
I signed the papers, took the keys, and in that moment, the Trevita was mine.
Once this hook is on, there's no turning back. We're pulling it out of the desert.
Slow, keep the line tight. If it jerks, we're gonna snap carbon.
First, I had to purge the desert out of it, because sand in these vents means sand everywhere.
before we can tow it, it needs to roll. So I'm throwing on temporary wheels and getting it out of here.
Slow and steady, one scrape on the ramps, and this carbon is done.
If it shifts even an inch on the road, it's game over, so I strap it down like it's priceless. Now the real risk starts. Getting it home without losing a single piece on the highway. Once it's inside my shop, the desert stops winning, and the restoration finally begins.
All right, now we're in my bay. Next step is a full scan on the big screen, and we'll see what the desert really did to it.
This is the before. Dust, damage, and unknown problems. That screen is going to tell me exactly what I'm up against. Step 1 is brutal. Pressure wash everything. If sand stays in the seams, it'll destroy this car all over again.
Now the foam does the heavy lifting, because if grit stays on this carbon, it'll scratch with every touch.
This is where the real cleaning happens. Every seam, every vent. If sand stays here, it'll grind this car apart later.
Water hides in every seam, so I blow it out now, before it turns into corrosion and electrical problems.
Moment of truth, if the computers show sand made it into the engine systems, this won't be a simple cleanup.
This oil is basically tar, and the coolant's crusted up. The desert didn't just cover this car, it cooked it. There it is, sand inside the intake. That means this restoration just turned from cosmetic to serious.
Before I touch a single bolt, we map everything. Parts, steps, and risks. Because this car won't forgive mistakes.
Up on the lift is where the truth shows. Everything the sand hit, everything the heat cooked.
With the wheels off, we can finally see the damage. Brakes, hubs, and everything the sand has been grinding for years.
First brake comes apart, and it's worse than it looked. This rotor's been sandblasted and rusted at the same time.
Carbon panels come off first. One slip and you crack something that costs more than a normal car.
Electronics hate water and sand, so every connector and light has to come out, get cleaned, and get tested.
Even after the wash, the engine bay tells the real story. Sand got everywhere.
Before anything comes apart, every fluid has to come out, cleanly, safely, and separated.
This is exactly what I feared. Sand inside the charge pipes. If it reached the turbos, we're rebuilding everything.
Yep, the turbos took a hit. If grit went through here, we're not cleaning, we're rebuilding.
This is the point of no return, engine out. Now we can clean, inspect, and rebuild it the right way.
Before we rebuild anything, the chassis has to be spotless, because grease and sand hide cracks, leaks, and real damage.
These bushings are cooked, cracked, dry, full of grit. New suspension parts are the only way this Trevita drives like it should.
New control arms, fresh bushings, This is how we erase years of sand grinding the suspension to death.
Brakes aren't optional at this speed. Every seal and piston gets replaced so it stops like new.
Cooling is life on a hypercar. One clogged fin and temps spike fast, so every passage has to breathe again.
Old fuel parts don't get cleaned, they get replaced. One clogged filter and this engine runs lean at full boost. Sand in the top end is catastrophic, and every surface has to be cleaned and measured, or this engine won't last 5 minutes.
This is how you get sand out of places you can't even reach. Ultrasonic cleaning, then we inspect everything.
Fresh crosshatch means the rings can seal again, and this is the difference between an engine that runs and one that lasts.
Before it goes back in the car, I'm running a full performance check, boost, temps, and RPM right here on the screens.
Carbon repair is patience. Fill the crack, seal it, and rebuild the finish layer by layer. Vacuum bagging pulls the repair tight. No air pockets, no weak spots, just clean composite strength.
This is the slow part. Wet sanding until the surface is perfectly flat. Gloss comes later. This is the slow part. Wet sanding until the surface is perfectly flat. Gloss comes later.
Fresh clear coat is what brings the carbon back to life. Depth, shine, and protection from the elements. Fresh clear coat is what brings the carbon back to life. Depth, shine, and protection from the elements.
Now we cure it because the finish isn't real until it hardens, levels, and locks in that depth.
Reassembly is where precision matters. Perfect gaps, correct torque, and no shortcuts. Interior sand is the worst. If it stays in the rails and wiring, it'll squeak, grind, and short things out later. Heat cracked the leather and sand got into every stitch, so we clean, repair, and recondition it until it feels new again. Fresh fluids, then bleed the brakes until every bubble is gone, because this car needs perfect pressure, not good enough.
Battery in, scan complete. Seeing all green on the screen is the moment you know the rebuild is real.
Come on, the West, yeah, that's awesome. Yes, that's a clean start, no knocks, no smoke, just a perfect idle.
From a desert junkyard to this, fully restored. That's the Trevita back where it belongs.